Hi, I'm Judith Falloon-Reid, and I'm coming to you live on Jamaicans.com with Shelf Life. Remember to like this page, share it with as many friends as you can, and tell us what you think by dropping a line in the comment section below. Shelf Life is brought to you this week by Linden's Graphic. For all your graphic needs, including book cover design and interior layout, promotional materials, brochures, social media covers, logo design, and so much more, contact Linden at lindensgraphic@gmail.com or visit lindensgraphic.com.
Today on Shelf Life, we're going to learn how water walk go pumpkin belly. We're going to learn about Brother Nancy and Brother Takuma, and all with Dr. Don Lemonius, the writer of Me Have Something to Tell You, our story, the Jamaican story. Dawn is a maths teacher and social studies teacher and West Indian history teacher by profession in her earlier years. Now she's an author, she's a trainer of culture and has been for many, many years with TPDCO for the Jamaica Tourist Board, and she does a lot of consulting in the area of tourism. Today, she's a consultant, a human resources consultant, training and development consultant, both locally and internationally. She is an approved training partner in the Team Jamaica program for the Tourism Product Development Company. And so she's perfectly suited to tell us about our culture. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Don Lemonius. Dawn, it is so good to have you on Shelf Life today. And your book, wow, you know, that book teach me some stuff, and I used to teach culture for TPDCO. Me have something to tell you, our story, the Jamaican story. Welcome to Shelf Life.
Thank you so much. It's such a pleasure being with you this morning.
Yes, it is. It really, really is. Now, before we even get into the book, let's talk about you, Dawn. Your passion for culture, your passion that has led you to write this book. And what I found interesting about the book is that unlike a lot of the others where it just touched the surface, you really, really go deep down. It's like a real study of our culture in a very fun way. What
Yes.
brought you to this place to get to writing this book?
You know, Judy, I love history a lot. And my passion for history really developed in high school, where I had an excellent history teacher. And for me at that time, history was more than just a text. It was a story. And it is not surprising that when I left high school, I went to Teachers College, and I specialized in social studies. And having left college, I specialized in math as well, funny enough, the combination of both. But
That's an interesting combination.
Exactly. I lean more towards social studies. And then I taught secondary school social studies and high school history. A couple of years in teaching, and then I delved into the corporate world, went to Duff's Business College and went to Tourist Board to work. Now, one of the things about working at the Tourist Board at the time in the training department is that we had a program called the Tourism Awareness Program. I don't know if you remember.
I remember that program because as we talked about off camera, you and I were at the Tourist Board at the same time. I was in Ocho Rios as a marketing officer. You were in
Exactly.
And yes, I'm very, very familiar with that program.
Exactly. So I really got a little bit more into not the text history, but other parts of history that, you know, we needed to know. And I left the Tourist Board, and of course the training department also departed from the Jamaica Tourist Board. And I went full circle. I went into the corporate world, into the private sector, came full circle back with TPDCO, with the Team Jamaica program, which is something similar.
I love that program. I also taught Team Jamaica.
Exactly.
We have a lot of places where we crossed, yes.
Exactly. So I taught cultures going back to 1997 when the program started. And it gave me a perfect opportunity to share the little at the time that I knew about our culture. Because as we grow up, you know, we tend not to pay attention to our culture. We take a lot of things for granted.
Yes, we do. I grew up in the arts, which is what I still am in. So festival
Yes.
for me was a huge, huge deal. You know, I was in dance festival, drama, you name it. I was in festival. And so, yes, culture is something that I realize that a lot of us we only see it at festival time and
Exactly.
Christmas time, and we forget about it for the rest of the year.
Perfect. That is true. And the thing about it is also that when you grow up, because of the thrust to speak standard English, you know, we certainly, it is not encouraged or tolerated to speak in the dialect, for example, or things that you see people do, you say, oh, that's them, you know? But the more I taught culture, more I shared culture across Jamaica, many different places, the more I appreciated our culture.
Yes, you really, really learn to love it when you have to teach it.
Exactly. Because one of the things that happens with that is that you don't only impart what you know, but you learn as well from your participants.
It's amazing the amount that you learn. I remember teaching up in Mavis Bank one time, doing a culture class up there. And as much as I taught them was as much as they taught me. It was
Exactly.
the best rundown I ever eat was in Mavis Bank.
Exactly, you know, it is amazing. And so moving around Jamaica and sharing and learning, then I had a lot of things going on in my mind. And over the, you know, so this is what brought me into here. I also, when I left the Jamaica Tourist Board, I went into HR. So for years, I have been an HR manager, HR consultant, training officer at the TPDCO, because having gone to TPDCO as an external trainer in the Team Jamaica program, I joined the staff there later on. Mm-hmm. And I'm not full-time there now, but I'm still associated to them because I'm an approved training partner.
Right, so you're still doing training for TPDCO.
Yes, I'm still doing the training, I'm still sharing. And, yes. So
let me ask you a question though. Let me just stop you right there for one quick second, because I have embraced Patois as my first language. I don't care how nobody wants to tell me that it is not a language, it don't have structure. I've heard it all, but I have embraced it as my first language. Now, like you, I grew up in that era where you weren't encouraged to speak Patois, and make matters worse, I grew up in Mandeville before I was 10 years old. And in Mandeville, we had a lot of expatriates, so talking Patois was not the done thing.
No.
And for me, it is a pleasure to speak in my own tongue. How do you feel about Patois now, at this stage of life, having lived the same kind of life I lived and having grown up the same way? How do you feel about it now?
I'm so comfortable with it, because when the time comes for me to speak English, I do. Mm-hmm. And one of the things about my communication, especially when I'm training, and participants will always tell you, I always find a way to drop a proverb in, no matter what I'm training in. So whether it's a patois or a proverb, I always find a way to utilize that part of the culture. Like you, I did not grow up in Mandeville, I grew up in Ulster Spring in Trelawney. But my mom was a teacher. Ooh. So, yes. So it certainly was not tolerated to be speaking anything else but the English language. So when I left home and I, moved around, then I got more comfortable with the patois. And here we go.
Did Miss Lou influence you? Because she certainly influenced me to embrace and love it. I used to do a lot of Miss Lou poems. Did she influence you?
Yes, she did influence me. And Oliver Samuels as well, because I realized how quickly they speak the standard English, how quickly they get into the dialect and they get back out of it. It's amazing.
Yes, and it's fun.
They have inspired me to be like, to try my best.
That's good. So let's talk about the book now, because I'm going to ask you to read one of the Anansi stories you have in the book. The book is a mix of proverbs and sayings and history and puzzles and Anansi's story and just a little bit of everything. But I'm amazed at the depth to which you have taken the reader, because you read a lot of these speak patois, chat patois books or Jamaican history books, which are meant for tourists, really.
Yes.
And they have a few little phrases, wagwan and, you know, no problem, man. I know I don't say man, I say man, but for some
We
reason
certainly don't.
they keep writing man. But the depth to which you have taken this book, who is your audience? Because a lot of those books are written for tourists.
Yes, if tourists read it, it's fine for me, but I wrote it for my own people. And I tell you why I wrote it for Jamaicans. Over the 23 years that I've been delivering this culture, I have found that there are so many of us who know so little about ourselves. Why we say what we say, or why we do what we do, or how the language, the patois is structured. And it is the trainer in me and the teacher in me. I think it came out in the book that I'm trying to educate while entertain, because that's my style of training as well.
Edutainment.
Yes, entertainment. I love to have fun in training. Games and laughter and dancing and singing and all that kind of thing. And so I wrote it for my own Jamaican people to rekindle the love for our culture, to open our eyes to what we have. People are paying thousands of dollars for persons to imitate the Jamaican accent.
Isn't that something?
We have the patois and we're behaving as if we are ashamed of it.
I know, it's so amazing to me, the amount of money. And what galls me about that, though, is that there are so many Jamaican actors. But I do understand that if you're not a SAG actor, you won't be able to get some of those roles. And so,
Exactly.
you know, that's why sometimes they use actors that are not Jamaican to portray these Jamaican roles. But our Jamaican actors are really getting in there now and making themselves known. And I love that. I absolutely love that. Because everything you watch, I watch a lot of Australian programs and programs from New Zealand and other parts, even a Swedish program. And everywhere you turn, they have reggae music, and they're I won't say appropriating. I don't like that term, because I feel that cultures are out there, and if we love it, we would be able to at least represent it somehow. But yes, I find that our culture is everywhere, and we really need to love it. What has the response to the book been like?
Very good. And you know what? Because the book is available on Amazon, I find that the people in the diaspora are buying it a lot more because it's not available here yet. So I'm trying to get some in. But the feedback has been great. And I tell you what, Jamaicans who have left here for a while, or those who are growing up, the American children, right? The American-born children, the Canadian-born children, wherever they are born outside of Jamaica, I find that the parents value this book a lot because it helps them now to connect. Yeah. A friend of mine sent me some voice notes with her daughters who have spent so many years of their early childhood. They left here very young and grew up overseas, and they're trying to read one of their Nancy stories. It was hilarious.
That's always fun. I have nieces and nephews who are Americans who only been to Jamaica, I think maybe once, who identify themselves as Jamaicans.
Exactly.
My nephew was like over the moon when he was a teenager and started driving, and I bought him one of those Jamaican, the tassel thing that hung from
the put in the car.
Yeah, exactly. I know what them call them. But
so this book is really written for Jamaicans wherever in the world they are, wherever in the world, because our culture is so diverse that words and phrases and proverbs you hear one part of Jamaica, you don't hear it on the other part of Jamaica. So even those persons that live here, and over the years, you know what? Conversations. When I started writing the book, I would have frequent conversations with my auntie who is in Atlanta, my sister in Florida, and other members of my family here, my daughter. And a lot of proverbs would come. My daughter works in the health system here. She's a medical doctor here in Jamaica. And there are times when she would come to me and tell me some things that a patient might have said, an expression that a patient might have expressed. It's the first she's hearing it. So a combination of these conversations, that is what gave me, all of this. It's pretty much my experience.
That's
I
brilliant.
didn't go about doing a research. I did not go about asking people to give me proverbs. It's much that inner circle.
It just came to you.
Yes, it's something that we do every day in our conversations.
I tell you that it's interesting how the Jamaican patois is different from place to place. Many, many years ago in another lifetime, I used to work with the Hatfield Cultural Group. And when I first started working with them, I was the PR and MC, PR person and MC.
Yes.
There was a bunch of them who would sit in the back of the bus, like when we're going to a performance. And half the time I had no idea what they were saying.
Exactly.
Because they come from Westmoreland and they have some words that we never use in a Mandeville, we're not using a Mobe, we don't use in Kingston. And I couldn't figure out what they were saying. And one of those words I'll never forget was poop out.
Okay.
That's like, after the conversation went on for quite some time, I realized the word meant hand me downs.
Oh,
so
no, I know it another way.
What you know it as?
Pupina.
What's that?
Pupina.
I know Pupina too. No, I know Pupina too. I know Pupina too. So it's very, very interesting. You have your book with you, right? I want to ask you to read me an Anansi story, because the Anansi story you're going to read today is one I haven't heard before.
Okay.
I'm going to invite my audience to enjoy this little Anansi story.
This Anansi story explains why was uncle have one teeth. Once upon a time, Brother Anansi promised Brother Was to make him bite him head. Well, a long time Brother Anansi did give Brother Was the promise. So Brother Was thinks it's high time if I bite him. One day, Brother Anansi go to post office and see Brother Was. Brother Was promptly remind Brother Anansi about the promise in the game. So Brother Anansi said, all right, Brother Was, I'll give you a bite in my head, so you can come to my yard later. You hear? Brother Was glad to hear that, man, and tell Brother Anansi to say, he might come to my yard later. So later in the day, Brother Anansi see him come to my yard. Come my yard later. So later in the day, Brother Anansi go Brother Anansi yard, man. Knock on the door. Brother Anansi hear the knocking, but he pretends to him not hear. Brother Was knock again and call out, Brother Anansi, and me, Brother Was. Me come to get the bite off of your head. Brother Anansi still no answer. Brother Was knock again, louder, and call out, Brother Anansi, and me, Brother Was. Me come to get the bite off of your head where you promised me. Brother Anansi answer now and say, all right, Brother Was. Me I go open the door so you can come in and come get your bite. Brother Anansi take time and open the door. But Brother Was never knows that the door open. Here Brother Anansi shout out to Brother Was. Brother Was, you can't come, you know. The door open now. By that time, Brother Anansi go lie down in his bed and put one Dutch pot over his head. Then he cover the Dutch pot with one sheet. When Brother Was come over the bed with Brother Anansi, you know, here Brother Anansi with a little pitiful sigh, so weak. Hear him to Brother Was. Brother Was, me head a hot me from morning. So take time with me head. You hear, take time with it. Brother Was say, all right, Brother Anansi, we take me time. Brother Was get ready. He engine up him wing them, man, and him flap him wing them, and him go after Brother Anansi and him swarm down and him go down. So Brother Was surprised, the whole line teeth them pop right out. He never know said Brother Anansi did have one Dutch pot over head. So the first thing put on pan now with Brother Anansi head broke out the whole line teeth and only left one. From that day till today Was having one teeth. Jack Mandora, me not choose none.
Me not choose none.
Might I add that realistically, does not have teeth. But it is said that Owas has one sting in his lifetime. So the reference is made to the sting.
I love it. Love it, love it, love it. And of course, inside the book, you have more Nancy stories and you have proverbs. And of course, we have the proverb where we all know chicken Mary hawk the near. You know, I used to think that was such a wicked thing to have to say to children. I mean, you're out there having a good time and your parents are going to tell you, must be weird because something bad is coming. I just thought it was a cruel thing to say.
It is, exactly, because they may be calling you to come inside and they're taking too long. So if you don't come in, then you're going to feel something, you know? So chicken Mary hawk the near, you know, danger coming and you don't know.
My favorite, well, two of my favorite proverbs. One is one that I always used to say to my kids. If you know do whatever me tell you to do, you're going to find out today how water walk pumpkin belly.
Pumpkin belly, yes, yes, yes.
And I found out much later in life how water walk pumpkin belly was through the vine.
Through the vine.
And then my eldest sister always used to beat me over the head with this one. You must take sleep mark death. Because I would want to wear her clothes, I would want to wear her nice shoes, and she would insist that I cannot wear it because we're a good little distance in difference in age, and her things would have been way too mature for me. But she always used to warn me, you must take sleep, mark death. But you have one here that I need to ask you about.
Yes.
Good fowl I go and market. Sense a fowl take up him half a basket and say him I go to.
Yes, yes.
What does that mean?
You know, you have some persons who don't have the means to keep up with the Joneses. So they have persons around them who are in a better position than they are. So those persons may be going after a certain kind of car or a certain kind of outfit or certain neighborhoods, just things that other persons can afford, but they will have a challenge affording. In order to keep up with the Joneses, they go after it. So we say that good fowl I go a market, sense a fowl take up in half a basket and say magoto. The thing about it is that sense a fowl is an inferior fowl.
Yes, the picky head fowl.
The picky head fowl. I hear to say picky because in the dialect we repeat like that, picky.
Yes, good, bad.
Exactly. And half a basket signifies that they don't really have what to put in a full basket.
Yes, they don't have enough. So they should not be
so
going
good fowl I go market, sense a fowl, take up in half a basket, same about it.
I like that one. You know, I don't think I've ever heard that one before. That was one of the ones that I read and I was like, I really don't know that one. Of course, if fish come from river bottom and tell us a shark, they don't they believe him. I know that one very, very well. I use it a lot right here in America. In reference to our politics.
Exactly.
Any further, I will stop right there with that one. Don, this is definitely a book well worth reading. It is fun. I'm having a good time with it. You know, just want to talk a little bit more about some of the other things that you have inside the book. So you have some puzzles. You know, you have like a crossword puzzle and word search and all. What kind of age level are we looking at here?
Again, if you notice the way the book is structured and the shape and the print in the book, it is for everybody. It is once a child starts doing social studies in school. So it's from that age all the way up. So you're talking about maybe grade 4 all the way up, in our school system, or grade 4. Because it has the information which you would have learned in social studies or in history.
Boy, it would be nice to actually get this book into our school system. I know the challenges of getting books into the school system. I have a lot of friends who are authors and who write books that should be in the school system. But it is definitely something you should pursue, is getting this book into the school system, because it is in a way.
Yes, it's something that I'm going to be working at. Yes, it's something I'm going to be working at already. Mrs. Diana McIntyre Pike has a program, the Community Tourism Program. And she does training programs for participants across Jamaica. Mm-hmm. And she has advised me that she will be using this book as one of the texts for the students.
Well, she is
that.
He is such a pioneer and such a advocate. You know, he has never slowed down, never stopped. I've known her for a whole lifetime, and she has never slowed down and never stopped. Before we finish up today, if you had one thing that you would like to say to Jamaicans across the world about our culture, what is that one thing that you would?
I would like to say to all of us that we must take pride in the culture and in who we are. And one of the main reasons why I took time out to create a book like this is because I was not aware of a book that is like a one-stop book with so many different stuff in there. Persons have written books that are just straight proverbs. Persons have written books that are just straight Anansi stories. This is a book worth keeping at home. This is something that you know, we need to have to understand our dialect more. We speak as Jamaicans a particular way and we are not even aware that is how we speak. I go sit down. I stand up, I go stand up over there, so. I drive, I go drive. You know, without even realizing that that is how we speak. I really want us all to take more pride in our culture, to appreciate it more, not to feel inferior. I have been on a tour bus already and heard persons say things which is demeaning to us as a Jamaican people. I want us to be proud. Nothing about our culture we should be ashamed of, because every single nationality on the face of this earth have their own cultures. They have their own belief systems. You know, I listen to other persons from other islands, for example, speak in their dialect. It is not as dramatic as ours. We can understand them when they speak. They really don't understand us if we don't explain, because the dialect has so much to it.
Yes,
you know?
It does. As you talk about the way we speak, there's a good old joke that I'll never forget, where these guys were playing dominoes, and one guy, his friend was waiting on him. Friend come and him say, "Man, what, me not ready?" The guy look up and say, "Ready, ready, ready?" He said, "No,
Exactly.
man, I'm come see if you're ready."
Exactly. Wait, what? You gone?
Yes, I love that. No, man, I'm not gone, me gone. But I love it. I love the way we speak. I love our culture. I am a huge culture buff, and I can't imagine being anything but a Jamaican. I really can't. No matter where I live, and I've lived in many places, no matter where I travel to, and I've traveled to many places, I can't imagine being anything but a Jamaican. Dawn, thank you so much for being with me on Shelf Life today, for sharing all of this. Your book is available on Amazon, and you are getting some into Jamaica for my viewers and listeners in Jamaica. And we look forward to much, much more. And we know that our culture is better for having ambassadors like you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so very much. It was certainly my pleasure. And remember, all the time, may I have enough more things to tell you.
Amen. We look forward to book 2.
Yes.
Thank you, Dawn.
More
things to tell you. All right. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you so much.
Stay safe.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Well, I hope you learned something new on Shelf Life today. I hope you at least heard one new proverb, or at least the Anansi story was new to you as it was to me.
Thank you so much for joining me on Jamaicans.com today. Remember, like the page and share it with as many friends as you can.
And of course, I have more for you next week, same place, same time, right here with another Caribbean author on Shelf Life. What good?